something a lot of us forget is where we came from. Me and you are extensions of pure, positive, source, God energy. And that may be hard to leave because you're not used to hearing things like that. And knowing that, that means you have control, you have power. And that's something that most of us did not believe at one point, or may not believe right now. So it may be hard to hear that you're the creator of your reality because you look around at things that you created and they may not be what you want. And it feels good to blame other people. It feels good to blame other people for that car accident that you experienced. It feels good to blame other people for that money that was lost. It feels good to blame other people for that negative thing that happened in your life that you just can't come to the agreement upon that you created it. But you did create it, and I created it, and it's okay, because by us creating that negative experience in our life, that helped us more clearly know what it is that we do want. Whenever you go through something that may be a little hard to swallow, you know more clearly what you do want. And it helps you identify, I have lack of money, I want more money. I have lack of this, I want more of this. I don't have this, I do want this. And you wouldn't be able to know that without experiencing things that you don't want. So be grateful for those moments and take full control, because you are in control. So take full control of what you're doing with your thoughts, what you're doing with your emotions, what you're giving attention to. Take full control. Who you're associating with, take full control. Who you're hanging around. You see, all those play a very big factor in the creative process of what you're creating in your life, because the people around you are affecting you whether you know about it or not, and you're affecting them too. But you're the only person who is able to allow others to affect you or to not allow it. You see, whenever you're around those 5 people that you see the most, and they're not chasing their dreams, their goals, or their desires, and they're not going anywhere, is what it seems, and you're around that all the time, it's gonna rub off on you if you don't know how to master your emotions. It's gonna rub off on you if you don't know how to direct where your attention goes. Because you see with these people around you who you see so much, you see what they're giving attention to, and you see the way that they're talking, and you see and you feel their dominant vibrations, and it's rubbing off on you because you may not know how to direct your own attention, so you're directing it based off of what you see. And instead of observing what's already manifested, like the people around you, or the car that you have that you don't want, or the bank account balance that you wish was larger, instead of observing things that already are and having your attention be attracted from without, direct it from within. You see, me, this very video is attracting your attention from without because I'm something outside of you. But you could easily, just as easily, with practice, direct your attention from within, which means that even though you see all these things that are already in your life currently, you don't have to let them self-perpetuate. You see this problem, or what you think is a problem, and you keep looking at it, and it keeps making you feel negative emotion, so you're creating more of it, and you're observing it, negative emotion, creating more, and this thing that is self-perpetuating. So what you want to do to slow down momentum on things that you don't want is go within and direct your attention from within. How would I like this situation to be? How would I like this bank account balance to look? And start visualizing and using your imagination, because that's how everything in your world was created. You imagined something that you didn't want to happen and it came about. And you could just as easily imagine beautiful things, desires fulfilled, just as easily than desires unfulfilled. Whenever you have a desire, don't focus on how it's going to come about, because that's irrelevant. Don't focus on that. Focus on the way you feel in relationship to that desire, because the way you feel in relationship to that desire is the way you feel in relationship to your inner being, to your source within you, to that inner part of you, to that God within you, because that inner part of you is already being what is necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. So if you're giving thought to more money and it feels negative, you must be thinking about the lack of it, because that inner part of you is only focused on what it knows, and it knows that there's an abundance. And it's very beneficial to know this information, how to be the deliberate creator of your reality, how to know, what am I doing at every single moment in time with my thoughts that is creating what's around me. You see, if you're observing things that are unpleasant and you're observing things that are not to your liking, stop observing them or change your opinion about them. But if you're not going to do that, then close your eyes and direct your attention from within. Direct your attention from within. What that means is you imagine what is it that you truly do want and get clear on that. And if you don't have a specific desire and you don't have a specific amount of money that you want, but you just have an emotion that you want to feel, I just want to feel secure. I just want to feel that I have enough money to spend comfortably and I can experience all the things that I love in life without feeling lack. I want to feel abundant. That right there is a desire. It doesn't have to be specific. It could be a feeling. It could be general. You don't have to ask for that specific car. You can just ask for that brand of car. And you don't even have to ask for that brand. You could ask for a vehicle that will make you just feel exhilarated. And you directing your attention from within by closing your eyes and imagining as if you're the person who already achieved that thing. You're walking, talking, acting, speaking, thinking, and feeling as if you already created in your life and you're living that thing that you desire. If you feel that emotion in imagination, it is. You see, if you close your eyes and imagine that your life is beautiful and your life is as you want it to be, it is, because that's really all that matters, is that you feel as if it is, and it is. And when you open your eyes, everything that you see, it's all old news. Everything that you see is a manifestation that's old news, because whenever you see something in your physical world that is, a lot of energy has already been flowed about it, which means whenever you get that car that you desire, that's old news, because you've been giving thought and directing your attention from within to that car for as long as you can remember. And when it comes about, people are going to think that it's new. That's old news. You've already been living that reality within your mind. Does that make sense? So if you see things in your life that you don't want, and they're grabbing your attention from outside, just understand that that's old news. That was something that a lot of energy has already been flowed about prior to its being. It's always been vibrational. It's been. But by you seeing the physical thing happen in the real world, it's the same thing seeing that physical thing but in your imagination. If you feel as if you are that person, you are that person. Period. No one could tell you different. If you're in imagination driving the car you want to be driving and you're feeling the emotions, you're feeling the steering wheel in imagination, you're feeling the velvet seats or the leather seats, and you're looking out the window, you're feeling the air conditioner, you're smelling the new car smell, and you're there in imagination, you're there. That is reality. And whenever you open your eyes, start walking, talking, acting, thinking, speaking, and most importantly, feeling how you did when you were in the fulfillment of that desire. And it will come about. It's a law. The means that are necessary for the fulfillment of your desire will come into your experience. They will show up. You don't have to worry about how. You don't have to worry about when. Because it is on its way. When you feel good, everything that you want is on its way. And whenever you feel bad, everything that you don't want is on its way. So choose. Am I going to feel good or am I going to feel bad? And choose and make a decision, an aware decision. Because like I've said, most people are not aware. They're just flowing with the wind like a leaf, not knowing why things are happening in their life when they're the ones who are doing it all. They think it's that this person asserted this in their life. They think the IRS did this to them. They think their mom and dad did this to them. They think the school that they did or didn't go to did this to them. You did it all. And that's good to know, because if you have things in your life that you don't want, you could easily, just as easily, create things that you do want. And it's great that it's a buffer of time in this experience, because whenever you close your eyes and imagine you driving that car, it gives you time to identify, do I really want this? It gives you time to identify, what is it that I truly want? And if things just instantly manifested in your world right off the bat from you thinking them, that sounds nice, don't it? Well, let's talk about it. You think of this home that you want. Very nice home, very big, has all the furniture that you desire, and everything about it is just perfect, right? You think about it, 5 seconds later, it's in your experience. You're living the dream, right? Well, if it was that way, most of us, that would be unfortunate. That would be unfortunate if we had instant manifestations for most of us, because most people are thinking so negative. So even though they think that they want to think of their desire and it pops up instantly, well, if you're negative most of the time anyways, you're going to be thinking of the lack of your desire. You're going to be thinking of something that you don't want to happen, like getting in that car crash. And then 5 seconds later, that happened too. You see, if it works one way, it's going to work the other, because it would be law. Now, thank God we have a buffer of time, because that gives us time to really practice a vibrational frequency. It gives us time to align our energy to what we want, if we're aware. And some people are doing it unawarely. Some people are so optimistic without even knowing it that they're getting what they want. But most people are unawarely practicing a dominant vibrational offering that is negative. And they're getting so much of the things that they don't want. Why is this happening to me? Can't this happen to somebody else? I don't understand why this is happening to me. I'm unlucky. Things never play out in my favor. You see? Look how that person is speaking internally. They may not be offering those words audibly, but that's their inner speech. They're creating all this stuff unawarely. And if that's you, change it right now. You feel me? It's going to take time to practice and get yourself in a holding pattern of thought that is in the direction of where you want to go, but you're gonna get there. And the first step is being aware. What am I thinking? What am I giving attention to? Am I giving attention to irrelevant subjects that have nothing to do with where I want to go? I should probably stop doing that. And then withdraw your attention from them by choosing what it is that you are going to give your attention to, because that's the only way you could withdraw your attention from something. If you're thinking about something you don't want, right? You can't just forget about it. You can't say, I'm going to stop thinking about this thing that I'm thinking about because you're thinking about it. I'm going to stop thinking and giving attention to this thing I'm giving attention to. You keep thinking about it. But if you want to stop giving attention to that, give attention to what you want to. And by giving attention to what you want to give attention to, you will withdraw your attention from what you previously were focused on. That's the only way to do it. By focusing on something other than what you're focusing on now. And if something that you're focused on now is beautiful and it's getting your attention in a beautiful way, keep focusing on it because it's making you feel good. It's getting you aligned to that source within you. And when you're aligned to that source within you, then you have the power that creates worlds on your shoulders. Shout out to Abraham Hicks, man. Great teacher. Y'all should go study, do your research. And that's what I did, and that's why I know what I know, because I studied the greats. I studied the people who had what I wanted, and I did what they did, and I'm doing what they're doing, and it's working. And my intention is to show others the same thing. Be a light and lead by the clarity of my example. Now, we're all teachers. I'm a teacher. You're a teacher. Your little siblings are teachers. Your children are teachers. They're teaching you. And if you're aware enough to learn from them, then you would grow so much faster than what you're growing to right now. And not only grow, but you would keep up with your expansion. Because you're growing right now, whether you know about it or not. Whenever you experience something you don't want, you're growing from that experience because you're collecting new data. You're collecting data that was not there before, that you didn't know. Whenever you're observing a little child, learn from them. See how they're so focused on their desires. They're daydreaming. They're focused on the things that they want. And they're such positive beings in alignment with their inner being, with their God within them, because they are extensions of God, and so are we. And learn from them. Ask yourself, how is it that this child is always so aligned? And you'll remember that you were once just like that child before you started having experiences and grew up in an environment that caused you to focus on what you didn't want more than what you did want. That child hasn't learned and picked up negative vibrational patterns from its environment yet, which is why it's in alignment. And depending on if that child grows up in a positive environment or a negative environment, that will determine how they're programming. It will determine their programming, because they are being programmed. I was programmed to thinking of the lack of what I wanted, focused on why I can't have what I have. And most people were. And if that's you, it's your job to change that programming, because if not, you're going to carry it for the rest of your life, blaming it on someone else when you have 100% control of what happens next. Even though we can't change what happened in the past, change what happened now. Change what happens now, because you can. And you are. You see, you never stay the same. You're always growing. You're always evolving. Things are always happening. This universe is in constant momentum. Things are always moving vibrationally. A lot of energy is being flowed about. Every single time you give your attention to something, you're flowing energy. So what are you flowing energy to? Flow your energy in directions where you want more of that thing that you're giving attention to. Flow it intentionally and on purpose. You see, whenever you were a child, you were only focused on that which you wanted, and you were always feeling so good, and you may have been out of alignment for those little moments. But when you were out of alignment, you see, when you're in alignment, you're right here. Whenever you get out of alignment, you know more clearly what you do want, which is more alignment. You expand, or that inner part of you expands. You cause that inner part of you to expand, and when you feel good, you're keeping up with that expansion that you caused yourself to evolve to. And whenever you see something that you want or don't want, you expand because you launch a new preference. You know more clearly something that you didn't know before. And if you don't keep up with that expansion, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're out of alignment with your source. And your source is what you want to be in alignment in and alignment with. You see, there's only God. There's only pure positive source energy. There's only abundance. There's only expansion, okay? Now, that's the only thing you could be tuned into. There is no evil. There is no source of poverty. There's no source of a lack. There is none of that. You're either aligned to this source, one and only source, this one and only God, or you're not aligned. But there's no evil. You're either aligned or you're not aligned. You're either allowing your natural connection to God, you're allowing that, or you're disallowing it to any degree. But there's no way you could stop being an extension of this, turn your direction to this lack, and be an extension to that lack. So your emotions are indicators of that connection with the one and only source. I feel good, I'm in alignment with that source. I feel bad, I'm not in alignment, I should do something about getting in alignment. And then focus your thoughts, raise your vibration, feel good now. And by doing all those things in whatever way you want to go about it, as long as you feel good, that's the only thing that really matters. And by doing that, you get in alignment with your source, and now you're connected to all the resources. Now things off your radar screen are going to start popping into your life. People that are going to help you fulfill your desires are going to pop into your life. Circumstances, situations, and events are going to just flow into your life that you were not expecting, but you were expecting. You were expecting, but you were not expecting the way that we're going to come about. You see, whenever you're manifesting something intentionally, whenever you are asking for, when you're asking for something, whatever it may be, whatever it is you're asking for, let's just say Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Rolls-Royce Cullinan, and you're transmitting a beam of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Because think about it, every single thing in this universe has its own unique, distinct frequency. And just like when you tune your station to your radio to 100.9 or 97.3, whatever station you're tuned into, there's an infinite number of frequencies that you're able to tune into that are each offering something very different. So just like you see in your physical world, there's so many different frequencies. That this clone that I'm staring at has a different frequency than that toothpaste. This pair of glasses that I'm wearing has a different frequency than this shirt that I'm wearing. A Mercedes-Benz has a different frequency than a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. They all have their own unique, distinct frequencies. And when you understand that your brain is a receiver and transmitter of frequencies, and you could transmit any frequency you desire, and you understand that you could also transmit any frequency you don't desire, then you're gonna very well be aware and want to be aware of what you're thinking. And you understand that, and you start transmitting Rolls Royce Cullinan, Rolls Royce Cullinan, Rolls Royce Cullinan, and you're transmitting that beam with high intensity for a long duration. You're asking with such huge amounts of power. You're walking, talking, acting, thinking, speaking, and feeling as if you're already the individual who's whipping that Rolls Royce Cullinan, right? And now, because there's no resistance between you and your relationship to the Rolls Royce, or whatever it is that you're asking for, because there is no resistance, because you're already expecting to be driving that. You're already expecting that to be in your life. You're manifesting it. This is how it works. You're manifesting that. You're calling it forth. You're flowing energy about that frequency. You're transmitting that frequency. Rolls Royce Cullinan, Rolls Royce Cullinan, Rolls Royce Cullinan. You're transmitting that frequency with high intensity for a long duration, and you feel so good. You feel expecting. You're in expectation. Your expectation is just so out of this world that you know it's gonna come, and you don't know how, but you know it's gonna come. Well, one day you're walking and you see, what is it that you see? You see this briefcase on the floor, okay? And you wonder, what is this briefcase? And there's a number attached to it and an email attached to it, and you call the number, and a woman answers the phone, and you're like, hello, yeah, I have a briefcase. I believe this is your briefcase. I called the number on it. It's left here on the side of the street, and I would just call him because I would like to return it to you. And this woman is just so grateful, right? This woman's so grateful. She's so happy. I'll be there in 10 to pick it up. Thank you so much. I did not know where I left it. I can't believe that I did that. Thank you for being such a great person, for even calling and considering returning it. Anyways, 10 minutes later, woman arrives, gets the briefcase, and she's so grateful for you that you returned something of hers, and it was of no value to you. That briefcase and what was in there was no value to you. You couldn't have possibly used anything that was in there. You didn't even look in it, but you returned it. And because of that, and how special and important that briefcase was to her, she decided to gift you a check for $500,000, right? And you didn't want to accept the check, but you accepted it because she's pushing it, because she's just in gratitude for you returning her belonging. Now, with that $500K, you go to the dealership and you put that down payment and you pay off the majority of that Rolls Royce Cullinan, and now it is in your experience. You are in the attainment of the Rolls Royce that you were asking for, and you were expecting it, and you're like, I'm so happy that I have this Rolls Royce Cullinan now in real life. This is real. I already expected this, but I didn't expect that it would play out like it did. I wasn't expecting to find a briefcase and call a woman and she was going to give me a check for returning it to her. I did not know that because that was off my radar screen. But things always work out in my favor. They always have, and they always will. And now you have your new whip. And you see, before you have that, let's rewind for a little bit. Before you got that, you could have never thought, how am I going to get this Rolls Royce? There's, on my radar screen right now, there's really no possible way with my income that I can even get this vehicle. I don't know how it's going to come. And you're scratching your head thinking about how it's going to come, but there's no possible way in your mind because it just isn't on your radar screen. You may not even have the right finances to even afford something like that. But that's irrelevant because this world, this universe has everything necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. And as long as you're tuned into that frequency, you will attract the means necessary for attaining what it is that you want. And whenever you think of how, you don't know how, you're not that smart, you can never guess, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go walking one day and I'm going to find a briefcase on the floor. And this briefcase is going to have a number attached to it. So I'm going to call the owner of the briefcase and return it to them. And because of me doing so, they're going to reward me with a check of enough money to go purchase the vehicle that I want. What? You can't think of something like that. You can't think of something like that. Because if you did, that would seem so unlikely. If you thought about that, what are the chances of that happening, right? You don't know. And it's irrelevant to know. The only thing that's important for you to know is that the Rolls Royce Cullinan will be in my experience. Period. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you've been doing it. And most people are doing it the opposite way. They're doing it in a way, they're using law of attraction in a way that is not benefiting them. So instead of thinking about and tuning into the frequency of what they want and walking in an expectation that it's going to come into their experience, they're doing the exact opposite. They're thinking of what they want, like more money. They're thinking of that piece of jewelry. They're thinking of that house. Whatever it is they're thinking of. They're thinking about, how am I going to get this thing that I want? How? I used to do this. And most people today are doing it. But it's not their faults. They're just unaware. I was unaware at one point. I did my research. I'm aware now, and I'm using law of attraction to my advantage because I have God on my side. I have source energy, and I'm an extension of that energy, and I'm taking full advantage of it because that's what it's there for. We were born to create. The Creator created us to multiply. So you're doing a disservice to yourself and your source if you are not using the abilities that were given to you to their full potential. Now, people who are unaware and creating by default things that they don't want, they may be thinking, I want a Mercedes-Benz. I want a Mercedes-Benz. I want a Mercedes-Benz. How is this Mercedes going to come? I don't have money right now. And by the way that it looks, my income is in no way close to me getting this. I don't know how I'm going to get this. And they start thinking of ways that they cannot think of because they're not that smart. They don't know what they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And they're tuned into the lack. They're tuned into the lack of their Mercedes-Benz. They're focused more on why they are not going to have it rather than why they can have it. They're focused on not knowing how it's going to come. They're focused on the lack of money that they have because they think that that's the way that it's going to come about. Focused on all these on the opposite side. You see, if there was a teeter-totter and the teeter-totter represented the Mercedes-Benz. One side of the teeter-totter would be attainment of, and the other side would be the lack of. And the more thought and attention you flow to whatever side is causing more vibrational weight, so to speak, on that side, tipping it that way, causing that manifestation to come about. So if you're thinking primarily thoughts that are on the lack of the Mercedes-Benz, you're tilting the teeter-totter, the vibrational teeter-totter, so to speak, this way, causing more and more and more lack of it because you flowed way more energy towards the lack of what you want rather than the attainment. And that's important to know because that is how it works, and most people are doing that without knowing it. Because remember, this is a law. It's working whether you know about it or not. So if you start to be aware, start to pay attention to what you're giving attention to. I got bars, huh? Pay attention to what you're giving attention to and be intentional. It's important to know this stuff. It's important because whenever you know it, you are now fully in control of what comes into your life. You've always been fully in control, by the way. This person doing this to me, that person doing this to me. That's all perception. I was doing it all along. You were doing it all along. And whenever you learn to change those dominant vibrational thought patterns that are embedded in your neural pathways, you will begin to change your life. You see, like I said, most people are raised not knowing how the universe operates and the laws that govern this universe. So they don't know why things are happening in their life experience, and they don't understand that they're the ones doing it to themselves. And their life just represents a psychological play that's taking place in their mind that they have full control over. Most people are not aware. I wasn't. Now I am. That's all that matters. And I'm moving forward. But our goal, once we know this stuff, is to wake people up. Wake them up. People need to know this information. And imagine if all of us knew it. Then nobody would be whining and complaining why they don't have what they want, because they understand that it's them to begin with. That's the only thing that really matters. Teaching through the clarity of your example. You see, people watching this right now, some may understand what I'm saying, and some may think that it's bullshit. Some may not be in alignment with it, and some might not even be able to receive the message that I'm giving. Even if they watch the full thing through, you may not be able to receive it. But regardless of that, my job is to attract the people who are meant to know this information, so that I could teach by the clarity of my example how to be a deliberate creator, and they could do the same. And that's the role that I'm playing in this very large universe. And I'm just living my life, living my dreams, being the individual that I want to be in life, constantly expanding, personally developing my mind, my body, and my soul, getting to the places where I want to be, and being grateful for knowing that God is on my side and I'm an extension of that which we call God. That sounds a little crazy to people who were raised believing this, but this is how it is. This is it. It'll resonate with you because you already knew this. You already knew this the day you were born. You knew that you had control and you were a creative being. You knew that you were an extension of that source energy. You knew. So if this message resonates like it did with me, then take action. And I don't mean take action out here. I mean go within and take action. Take action by cleaning up your vibration. Take action by cleaning out those old neural pathways, by replacing them with new neural pathways, by replacing them with new ideas, new thoughts, new beliefs that are beautiful, that are going to give birth to manifestations that are pleasant to observe. And understand that at first, when you first learn all this information, it may seem overwhelming because there's so much knowledge when it comes to it. There's really not. Feel good now. That's all you gotta do is feel good now. Because whenever you feel good, it's an indicator that you are aligned with that source energy, your inner being, your soul. You feel good emotion, you know you're aligned. And whenever you feel anything other than good emotion, you understand that that vibrational gap is what is causing you to feel negative emotion, and it's your job to do something about closing that gap by giving attention to things that feel good. And when you practice that and practice that and practice that, it will become easier and easier and easier over time. Like I said, at first it may be hard. It may be a little complicated. Change your perception. Change your perspective. change your opinion, because this is not hard. It takes discipline by focusing on what it is that you want. It takes discipline. And check this out. You were most likely raised in an environment, like most people, like myself, where there was a more primary dominant vibration of negative energy, lack of it. We don't have enough money to buy that. Who do you think we are? We're not made of money. What makes you think you could have that? Oh, you really think you could be that? You're raised around so much judgment, lack, fear, anger, and they're well-meaning people. They just don't know any better, which is why they can't teach you what they don't know, because they don't know what they don't know. But this is the negative black ball of energy that most were raised into on the teeter-totter. Okay? Now, you also do have this big white, glistening ball of high vibrational frequency. And this is the good thoughts, the abundant thoughts. I can be, do, and have whatever it is that I desire in my life. I am the creator of my reality, and I could do whatever is needed mentally to make physical things come about. I deserve money. I deserve success. I deserve abundance. This is this side of the scale. These are the good beliefs. This is the high self-image belief. This is the high self-image side. This is the confidence side. This is the high vibrational side. Well, black ball energy, white ball energy. Most people are pulled towards the black ball energy because they have neural pathways that are causing them to instantly recall negative thoughts that make them feel negative emotions, because this is what is dominant within their environment. But knowing this black bulb energy, and you have the white bulb energy, which you feel right now, knowing this, you're going to start getting sucked back into your old habits of thought, your old patterns of thought, because there's so much more magnetic pull and momentum over here than there is over here, because you haven't fully established neural pathways, you haven't fully established thought patterns, you haven't fully established beliefs about what it is that we're discussing. So this is going to pull you. It's okay when that happens. Just be aware. Power of awareness. If you're not aware that you're going back to your old thought patterns, then you're living life by default again, and you're going to continue to create things that you don't want, and you're not going to know why they're there when it's you. So focus. When you feel yourself getting magnetized back to the negative thought pattern, feel good about that. Say, oh, I'm aware that I'm going back to my old patterns of thought. Let me stop right here because I'm aware, and I'm going to do things that make me feel good so that I could practice this vibration more. And the more that I practice this vibration, the more energy that I flow about this vibration, and the white bulb energy, the more I flow positive, aware vibration, high frequency energy to this side. It's going to start tipping and tipping and tipping until this white bulb energy is your dominant vibration, and you fully understand that you could be, do, and have whatever it is you desire. And now your dominant vibration will be one of freedom, love, joy. You deserve success. I am abundant. I am successful already because I'm moving in the direction of my desire, and I know where I'm at right now, which is why I'm successful. Success is the realization of a worthy ideal. It's the realization of your goals, and you're moving in that direction. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Are you progressively moving towards that goal of yours? Are you consistently moving forward in the direction to where you want to go? And if so, you are successful. And if not, you're unsuccessful. Success is not measured by having this vehicle or having this piece of jewelry or having this house or having this amount of money. That is not success. Success is the progressive realization of moving towards that direction. And as long as you're moving forward every day in the direction of your desires, you are successful. And the longer you move in that direction, the more you practice this high vibrational energy, and you're just blasting, transmitting, you're broadcasting at such high intensity what it is that you want, that's all that you're getting in your life. And you understand that whenever you get anything other than that, that adversity or what may look like a problem is actually necessary in order to help you move closer to your goal. You see, whenever you experience a problem, it's a preference that was born from that. I know I don't want this, therefore I now know more clearly I want this. That inner part of you automatically becomes what you're asking for. It's already given because asking it is given. And now all you have to do is align yourself with your source. And when you're aligned, now you're moving in the direction of your desire. And that thing that you wanted, that thing that you that caused you to launch that rocket of desire, that thing that seemed like a problem that caused you to ask for this, and you're aligned with that now. It's going to come into your experience too easy. You see, most people try too hard. They take way too much physical action. They're exerting so much force, and they're just decreasing. They're slowing down their bodies. They're putting unnecessary tension. They're deteriorating their cells unnecessarily, when really, if they took the time to go within and understand what we're discussing, they wouldn't have to do all that. And they would be living the life of their dreams with a fraction of the effort that they're currently exuding. This is the game of life and how to play it.